Hi, Keelan. You sound good.
Okay, thanks.
Sure.
We're now in session. Good morning, everybody. This is the Wednesday, May 3rd, 2023 morning session of the Portland City Council. Please call the roll.
Good morning. Ryan.
Here.
Gonzalez.
Here.
Maps.
Here.
Rubio.
Here.
Wheeler.
Here. Now we'll hear from legal counsel on the rules of order and decorum. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the Portland City Council. To testify before council in person or virtually, you must sign up in advance on the council agenda at www.portland.gov/council/agenda. Information on engaging with city council can be found on the council clerk's webpage. The presiding officer preserves order and decorum during city council meetings. The presiding officer determines the length of testimony. Individuals generally have 3 minutes to testify unless otherwise stated. A timer will indicate when your time is done. Disruptive conduct such as shouting, refusing to conclude your testimony when your time is up, or interrupting others' testimony or council deliberations will not be allowed. If you cause a disruption, a warning will be given. Further disruption will result in ejection from the meeting. Anyone who fails to leave once ejected is subject to arrest for trespass. Additionally, council may take a short recess and reconvene virtually. Your testimony today should address the matter being considered. When testifying, state your name for the record. Your address is not necessary. Disclose if you are a lobbyist, and if you are representing an organization, please identify it. For testifiers joining virtually, please unmute yourself once the council clerk calls your name. Thank you.
Thank you. And Commissioner Rubio had asked that I announce that she is participating today virtually due to an illness. And but there she is. I see her on the screen. So welcome, Commissioner Rubio. It's good to see you, and we wish you well. I hope you get well really soon. First up is communications. I note, Keelan, there's 3 individuals that have the same item. Do they want to come up together?
I think, yes, I think that's
All right,
preference.
why don't we call 337, 338, and 339 together, please? Oh, one is, well, that's fine. And you still want to come up together and?
Yeah, so we'll go and then we'll go and then the virtual person can
Perfect.
go.
It's
Is
one
that
good
all right?
thing that came out of COVID was we can do these hybrid meetings, so it works
Yeah.
well for everybody.
She got sick at the last minute, so it's great
All
that
right.
you have that
Yeah,
opportunity.
it's good to have the option. And so, would you like 9 minutes total for your presentation or 3 minutes each? What's
I
easier for
think
you?
we can do 6 and then,
9 minutes total, taking out the time, if there's time, that
Okay.
you have to adjust to go virtual.
Great.
Okay, great. 337, request of Lynn Felton to address council regarding proposed Prologis warehouse in Park Rose. 338, request of Elizabeth Durant to address council regarding Park Rose warehouse development opportunity. 339, request of Ava Jeanette Rollins to address council regarding Park Rose warehouse development opportunity.
And one moment, Commissioner Maps, did you have a question?
No, but I definitely want to engage in this dialogue.
Okay, so you're
I'm just
okay to wait
getting
till
in queue
afterwards?
and,
Good. Okay, great. So you haven't said anything, and you're already generating a lot of interest.
Chomping at the bit down there, chomping at the bit.
All right, good morning. Thanks for being here.
Good morning.
And thanks to everybody else for being here.
So, good morning, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Lynn Felton. I'm a member of the Argay Terrace Neighborhood Association and the Park Rose Argay Opportunity Coalition. We are here today to talk about stopping the building of a freight warehouse by Prologis that will be a block from Park Rose High School playing fields and 15 feet from where Portlanders live. In the 2035 Comprehensive Plan, Policy 7.2, environmental equity, prevent or reduce adverse environment-related disparities affecting underserved and underrepresented communities through plans and investments. From the Multnomah County 2019 Poverty Report, in the top 10% census tracts most vulnerable to climate change, this is where Portland allows a freight warehouse. PSU study, one of the hottest places in the city during a heat dome, this is where Portland allows a freight warehouse. According to the EPA, diesel particulate matter is in the top 90 percentile nationwide. Park Rose High School in the top 95 percentile. This is where Portland allows a freight warehouse. The neighbors, according to the 2020 census, 62% people of color. This is where Portland allows a freight warehouse. We have been communicating with you for a year and repeatedly been told nothing can be done. During that time, $2 million federal grant to create a clean freight zone downtown, clean air for future Ritz-Carlton residents, ironically called Portland Leads by Example. $20 million federal grant for improving safety on Northeast 122nd. Yet it appears not a cent of that is going towards the crosswalks our students use to get to school. In fact, PBOT allowed an exception that will allow heavy freight traffic to travel through those crosswalks and nudge the freight trucks to go along Northeast Shaver Street and Northeast Fremont. Both are PBOT safe routes to school for our elementary school children to Shaver School. Clearly, something can be done. But this will create jobs. Those jobs are already being created at the 90 Bay freight warehouse being built 2 blocks from Argay residents on Northeast 138th. It will create tax revenue. This site has the potential to be property tax-free for 5 years. Let's talk about real economic opportunity, not just wealth creation for a $1 billion San Francisco-based REIT. Incidentally, a company that is in the 15 out of the 33 retirement investments City of Portland employees can choose from. When Prologis does well, City of Portland employees do well. This could be a K-12 STEM education center for the youth of East Portland. The money is there. Millions in federal CHIPS and Science Act, millions in the Future Ready Oregon Fund. Last week even showed there are Portlanders with deep pockets who are willing to help our city. The 1803 Fund, $400 million. We are talking a public-private real economic engine that brings real generational wealth to the youth of East Portland. Clearly, something can be done. Mayor Wheeler, Commissioner Maps, Commissioner Rubio, You are invited to a walking tour to see the dangers our children will face by allowing this freight warehouse. Mayor Wheeler, Commissioner Rubio, we are asking your staff to pick up the phone and call the owners of this property and future partners to begin discussing a public-private partnership. We are asking you all to listen to the community. We are not sacrificing our children's health for a couple of jobs and more efficient last-mile delivery to more affluent inner Portland. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Elizabeth Durant. I have the honor of serving 2,800 students and their families as chair of the Park Rose Board of Education. Our board includes 4 student representatives. They wanted to be here, but this morning is AP testing. So they have asked me to read their statements, and I'm just gonna have time to read some of them. Hi, my name is Justin Santos, and I'm the junior class president of Park Rose High School. I'm here to enlighten you on an issue that's been affecting my peers and community. I am strongly encouraging you to stop the development of the Prologis warehouse, for we have been ignored for far too long. Serving my community, I've learned that we are small but mighty. When there is an issue that affects any of our community, we bring light to that issue and make sure our voices are heard. The air we breathe right now is bad as is. Our high school is right by a highway that leads to the airport, with tons of cars and traffic flow affecting the air around us. Me and my classmates are athletes: soccer, football, track, tennis, baseball, the list goes on. Air pollution reduces athletic performance, especially for those who have asthma. I cannot let my community be affected by the air we breathe for much longer, for this doesn't just affect the students attending school right now, but generations to come. I want to see Park Rose athletes prosper and grow without having that struggle to breathe. To the students, our battle is not over, and we just need to fight for what we believe in. And then from Benny Berhe, a senior at Park Rose High School. I want to agree with what Justin and Hunter, didn't have time, have said. This development affects us and our families. Park Rose, the people that attend our school are people of color, people from underrepresented communities. It is kind of strange that Prologis is building this in our community, and I feel like it would be such a tragedy if our voices weren't heard the way another group's voice would be heard.
Thank you.
Hello there. My name is Eva Jeanette Rawlins. I'm a board member with the Parkhurst School District, a member of the Parkhurst community for the last 6 years, and a mother of 2 children attending Shaver Elementary. I'm here today to ask the Portland City Council to engage with our community, not with a list of what cannot be done, but in a meaningful way with some solutions. As a parent, I want what other parents want for their kids, and for them to grow up in a safe, healthy, and affirming environment where they can thrive. And as a school board member, it's my responsibility to ensure that every child in the district has these same opportunities. And yet, East Portland already has some of the worst air quality in the region. Our kids already experience diesel pollution up to 4 times that of Oregon's health benchmark. And adding a fleet of semi-trucks chugging in and out daily will only exacerbate the situation. The new warehouse proposed for the Kmart lot is across the street from Park Rose and high school and middle school, and within minutes of Shaver Elementary. This would never be accepted in other affluent neighborhoods across Portland, but it has been happening for way too long in Park Rose. And we will not sacrifice our children's well-being so inner Portland can get better last mile delivery. Industrial use buildings that generate extensive diesel exhaust should not be located near any school. And I know some of you are parents, and I'm only asking you to do for our kids what you would do for your own. Community members feel blindsided by this decision, and that once again, Park Rose, a small enclave within Portland that is constantly ignored, is being told it doesn't matter. You've heard some of the testimony today from our students, and my hope is what they learn from this experience is that their voice does matter. Our kids deserve the world, but clean air to breathe is just a fundamental right, and it is unconscionable that we're offering them a future in which they have to fight for it. Mayor Wheeler, Commissioners Maps, Rubio, Gonzalez, and Ryan, we invite you to come visit the site and meet the children who go to our schools so you can put faces to the name Park Rose. And then together, we ask you, can we please show our children that their voices do matter? That people in decision-making positions do care about them. It feels like this is the least we can do. So I hope to see you soon. And with the extra time that I have, I wonder if we can read from another student's testimony.
Yeah, Julius Hunter Napa is a senior at Parkrose High School, and he wanted to share about the Kmart site being used after the active shooter incident for meeting up with families, when the Proud Boys took over the parking lot and held a rally with guns, walking up 122nd and destroying stuff at the school. Hearing that site is now being turned into a warehouse is a little disappointing and a little angering. You'd figure a warehouse built near a school is not a good idea. That's my main concern. Our distance runners, our cross-country kids, when they're running in that area.
Great, thank you. And we appreciate your being here. Thanks for your testimony, and I know there's some reaction here. Commissioner Rubio, why don't you go ahead and go first, please?
Thank you, Mayor. First, I just want to apologize that I can't be there in person today. I want to thank you all for sharing your concerns with us, and I clearly hear you and understand the frustration that you've all been communicating very clearly about this project. And to the students, I really hear your voices and your advocacy, and it definitely matters. I'd also like to clarify a few things. In researching this issue, Prologis had already applied to redevelop the site as zoning allows in March of 2022, which was, I was assigned BDS services in January of this year, and that's when we started looking into that at the urging of community. And the city's sole role here is to ensure that projects are in line with the zoning code and to process the related permits. We have no role with the private transaction of the lease. And based solely on their permit application, not the lease, the company is vested in current zoning. And regarding the lease, I feel compelled to state that given some of the misinformation that's being shared online, I want to state for the record that I, nor anyone else in the city, was a signer on that lease, nor would the city ever be. The lease is a private real estate transaction, and the city was not a party. And again, it is the permits that vest the company, not the lease. I'd also like to address the suggestions of a moratorium because my staff spent several hours considering options, and my office asked city staff to explore this. State land use law sets those criteria, and the bar is extremely high, and we've been advised that this project does not meet that criteria. And moving forward, I, along with my office and bureaus, are really dedicated to working with community, Multnomah County, and the company on good neighbor agreements regarding what we heard from you about road and pedestrian safety, environmental mitigation, workforce, and learning opportunities for students. And on behalf of the community, we did reach out to Prologis in order to begin facilitating dialogue, as you know, between them and the community. And I am told that the most recent meeting was this past Friday, and that Prologis was very receptive to that dialogue. My office has already been in contact with the staff that can help to shape the environmental mitigation efforts, including what the company has put forward, and also with staff in Commissioner Mapp's office about road and pedestrian safety. And I agree that signage, signals, and reducing the speed are all on the table for discussion. They should all be on for discussion. I've also received important and recurring feedback throughout this and from you in our meetings about how the information gleaned from community engagement, specifically citing this example of engagement in Park Rose in 2015 around the comp plan, might have been more clearly reflected, or at a minimum, clarity of where conflicting feedback arose and what determination was ultimately made by that previous council and incorporated, and how it's incorporated into city plans that guide future zoning and development. So I'm especially interested in how do we do this better moving forward, and how I'm especially interested in exploring with my colleagues how bureaus tasked with this kind of engagement and communication can improve ways of keeping community informed of projects that move over a long term and also through city staff and leadership transitions, like what's happened here. I also hope that we can have productive discussions on this going forward and shape this project in the way that we can. And again, the community has a partner in me in my office in looking at safety, environmental mitigation, and workforce opportunities, and these ways of improving engagement. And I know these are things that all my colleagues care about as well. So I look forward to how this takes shape and how it can be an example for other private sector developments in the future. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Maps?
Am I free to, for the record, make a comment to what Commissioner Rubio said?
Go ahead.
Okay. For the record, I'd like to say that good neighbor agreements are not legally binding. Prologis rents to tenants. They have nothing in their leases that hold those tenants to any non-legally binding good neighbor agreement. If you want to see how that can end, just look up Carson, California, where thousands of people were evacuated due to noxious fumes when a tenant of Prologis caught fire. And you can see the back and forth is going on between the company and the tenant. So you can see how their business model operates and how realistic a good neighbor agreement is.
Thank you. Commissioner Maps?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, I want to thank everyone who showed up to testify today and show your support of the testimony we heard. I also want to thank our testifiers for the compelling arguments they made, and I want to thank Commissioner Rubio for the role that she's played in this issue, the constructive role she's played in this issue. This is, as many of you know, this is a topic I know well, and I actually want to address my colleagues on council, because I think I've been involved in this particular space since probably 2016 or so. And there's some policy background that explains how we got here today, and I think there's some larger lessons that we can all learn from this. I think the first time I engaged with questions around the future of the Kmart site was probably 2016 or so, when previous councils were thinking about the comp plan. And I remember going out, and I think some of you might have been at this meeting, going out to a public hearing on the comp plan at Parkrose High School. In those days, I was on that side of the podium as opposed to this side of the podium. There were a lot of people mobilized around this, and one of the things the neighborhood was mobilizing around was how should this Kmart site be zoned in our comp plan? And at the time, the neighborhood wanted to be essentially mixed use. So our vision would be, let's build some residential property there with something commercial on the bottom. That is not how it got zoned in the comp plan. Instead, the comp plan went with employment, because I think that council that was putting together the comp plan really thought that the city needed to emphasize and create space for employment opportunities. I would point out, now several years later, we actually have some employment opportunities here, because I also spent many years trying to find some tenant for this space or to mitigate the various public safety and livability issues that arise when you had the space be empty. So now we have employment here. At the same time, this neighborhood is it's thriving. It's the heart of Portland in many ways. One of my philosophies about doing the work that I do on this council is, when we get Parkrose right, Portland will be right, because Parkrose really, the challenges that the Parkrose neighborhood faces are now pervade the entire city, and indeed I think they started to manifest themselves here in Parkrose. So I do think that we have this tension in our very planning documents. We also, I think one of your first slides got us on the hook for the some of the goals that are set up around clean environments in the comp plan, and then also within the comp plan we have the baseline zoning that allows this particular freight thing to move in. I also want to compliment Commissioner Rubio, since she's been in this role at the start of the year. Her office and my office have been in dialogue around what can we do about this particular development. And I can say her office has been a great partner in trying to figure out our options here. And I'll be frank with you folks. We have not found a legal way to block this development. And I think one of my baseline obligations as an elected official on this council is to not violate the law. On the other hand, here's where I think we're at. I don't see a legal way for this council to be able to block this particular project. However, there are some things that I think this council can do, and I'm committed to doing to mitigate some of the effects here. Commissioner Rubio talked about some of the work that her office, BDS, is going to do with whatever businesses go in there to mitigate the impact that it has on the neighborhood in terms of environment and whatnot. I'll definitely support her in whatever they're able to come up with, and I'll be at the table if there's a role for me at those tables. You know, I'm your commissioner in charge of PBOT water and sewer. PBOT is very relevant in this space. I think there are some things, and indeed there are some things that PBOT can do in terms of mitigating and changing the traffic patterns around this particular site to keep people safe and to make sure that goods and people can flow efficiently. We have a fairly well-developed plan on that, which we will move forward with right away. I believe you folks are having some sort of meeting on Friday morning. I got an informal invitation to that, but not a formal invitation, so I don't know when or where it is, but if I can make it fit with my calendar, I will zoom into that. In that space, we can talk more about the specific changes that PBOT is ready to make today in terms of making this safer for just kids who are trying to get in and out of the neighborhood. I think there's some very immediate short-term things that we can do, and then there's some long-term things that we can do too. Unfortunately, I'm not king of Sandy Boulevard, so I have to talk to ODOT a little bit, but we're already talking to ODOT, and there's some infrastructure stuff, both small and large. The small stuff we can do right away. I think there's some large stuff that will take a little bit of time to get to. But we are committed to getting to it. So I hear your frustration. I am very familiar with the issues here, and yes, I will come out and tour this space. Although, you know, I literally used to organize the Taste of Park Rose Fun Run, which goes right through this neighborhood, so I know what it's like to try to manage human beings and traffic in this particular space. But you folks deserve that. You also deserve this council and my commitment to continuing to kind of work to make Park Rose livable, make it safe, make the environment clean, and for you folks to have a partner here on council as you continue the important work of getting Park Rose right. And again, I do believe that once we get Park Rose right, that is the moment when we will get the rest of Portland right. So the work that you do and the work that we're doing together here today is important, not just for you and your neighbors and your kids, but for our entire city. I thank you for everything that you're doing. I commit to continuing to work with you. And I'm sorry that this has been so frustrating. I know this has been a long road, and it is, this is not where folks want to be today. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll hand it back to you.
Yeah, good. And I'll just add my 2 cents worth. This is out of my portfolio, but it's something I'm interested in. I know that my chief of staff and at least one other members of my staff participated in a neighborhood meeting. I believe it was on April 20th. I will continue to work with my colleagues and lend whatever support I can. This is one of those thorny issues where the public interest may be at odds with private property rights. And that's the balancing act we have to do up here. We obviously, as the commissioner said, we have to adhere to constitutional rights and laws that protect private property, most of which don't originate here at all. But we also have an obligation to the public interest. I also do want to respond to sort of a general issue here. I have a distribution facility in my neighborhood as well. It's not as large as the one that's proposed here, but we're seeing more of these types of distribution facilities in large measure because the way we purchase things has shifted. And so wherever possible, I always encourage people buy local, buy retail, buy bricks and mortar. Because the reason these facilities are popping up all over the place is because of the amount of things we're buying over the internet that get shipped through major facilities like these. So that's somewhat separate from your issue specifically, and I acknowledge that, but I just can't miss this opportunity to point out the economics behind why we're seeing more and more of these pop up all over the place. Really appreciate you being here. Thank you for your testimony, and I will work with Commissioner Rubio and Commissioner Mapps as the commissioners in charge, and if there's a path forward, I'll follow their lead on this gladly. Thank you. Next up, item 340, please. Next individual.
Request of Keith Cooney to address council regarding resurfacing Gabriel Park tennis courts for pickleball.
Pickleball.
Oh, yeah.
The controversy reaches
know.
Portland City Council.
Let's do it.
All right, welcome. Thank you. If you could just state your name for the record, please.
Yeah, I'm Keith Cooney. I live at 3840 Southwest Canby. I just want to thank you for having me here today to talk about this controversial issue. Yeah, I came here today to ask for a resurfacing of the lower courts at Gabriel Park. The courts are in disrepair, like a lot of the tennis courts around the city. And this sport's the fastest growing sport. We have 1,150 members of the Columbia River Pickleball Club. Some are here today. And we're a growing community that wants to see the city of Portland invest in this sport so we can have more opportunities for access. It's an easy sport to get into. You need a paddle and a ball. You know, so many of youth sports now have gatekeepers or are expensive to get into, not pickleball. And I have a 14-year-old and a 13-year-old, and they picked it up right away. They love playing. We love playing as a family. And the city has a responsibility for wellness, you know, having access to healthy activities. The reason why we're asking for Gabriel Park, because these courts are in disrepair. They're also inset. There's only a couple houses within a quarter of a mile of the development. About a month ago, we held an event there and we filled up those 2 tennis courts with 6 pickleball courts temporarily. We took a noise meter to all the houses, and the meter was negligible. There's a high-traveled road right there, and the road actually registered significant sound there. And there's a hill between the courts and the housing, and there's a dog park. So the noise issue isn't a problem in this park particular. A lot of those issues, you know, were very specific to those communities and didn't necessarily involve the noise. There are other factors that created some of the conflict in those communities. You know, we've reached out to city staff, our pickleball club. We've gotten very little response or terse responses. And that's upsetting because we're just trying to improve our community. You know, we've even been told that the city will let tennis courts go into disrepair rather than resurface them as pickleball courts. And you know, that's upsetting as somebody who's trying to improve our community, really. You know, right now we have to travel to Tigard. We have to travel to other communities to play. And these communities have made it work. You know, and our pickleball club, you know, helps manage courts all over the metro area. You know, we're happy to take up some of that administrative burden. But I guess I just want to finish, like, who at the city can we work with to, like, get this done? Like, that's what we want. We want the city to give us somebody that we can work with and kind of work through these issues. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Commissioner Ryan.
Thanks for being here. I appreciate your testimony. I think a lot of us are coming to grips with the pickleball movement. It really is a movement. I mean, it's even caused a stir in Lake Oswego, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to point out, is there someone here from Parks? Oh, there you are. Hey, stand up. Our community engagement lead. And so if you could connect with him on the way out, that would be great.
Yes.
And then our office liaison, is Karen here, or Darian's here? Karen, you're over there. These posts block me from people. So the two of you connect with him. That'd be great. I
Will do.
appreciate your testimony.
Thank you.
I have a comment, believe it or not, on
Okay.
pickleball. So I'd heard a great deal about it, and I finally had the opportunity to try it. I was visiting some friends with my daughter, and we tried it. And first of all, I can report that I'm terrible at it. It's yet one more sport you can add to the list where I will not be going to the national championships anytime soon. But it was fun. It's somewhere between table tennis and actual tennis. And the thing I noted most about it is just the place I went, there were 4 different courts. We were on one of 4 courts. And the court next to us had what appeared to be grandparents against the grandkids.
Yes.
And I was just thinking to myself, I can't think of many other sports where you see that intergenerational interaction. So I just, since you came and you're talking pickleball, something I never talk about, I thought I would say, I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was a lot of fun. And I agree with you that anything we can do that gets people outside, particularly in a beautiful state like this, that keeps people active is ultimately a good thing. So thanks for coming today. And I did have a follow-up. You said somebody from the city told you we would let our tennis courts fall into disrepair.
Yeah, one of our club members.
Intentionally?
Yeah, one of our club members had talked to somebody from the city that had told them that.
I'd be very happy if they want to get in touch with me with the name of that individual, because that doesn't sound like city policy to me.
Okay, I
Thank
will
you.
do that. I will
I
run
really-
that down.
Yeah.
That's a given, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so thank you very much.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate
you.
your being, and who else here plays pickleball? Who's the rest of the team? All right. Are any of you good? Are any of you good at pickleball? Okay, she's the one that I need to teach me then. Okay, very good. Thank you for being here. Sure
Yep,
appreciate it.
thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, next up is, let's see if I can turn the page here. Item 341, please, next individual.
Request of Timothy Du Bois to address council regarding improving and adapting Measure 110.
Welcome. Thanks for being here.
My name is Tim Du Bois. Thank you for your time, commissioners, mayor. I'm here to advocate for improvements that ought to be made to Measure 110 so that we can truly help victims of drug addiction and victims of drug addicts, while simultaneously allowing young families like mine to thrive in an environment where safety is #1 priority. We cannot continue along the current path of 110 for 2 reasons. 1, it is not working. And in the process of avoiding the increase in victimhood towards drug users, we are consequently creating an entirely new class of victims in our community. We seem comfortable increasing the number of victims of theft, violence, sex assault, physical assault, murder, and crumbling reality of security in our homes, near our schools, and in our business districts. I, for one, am not satisfied with this path. Number 2, if you believe in the concept of decriminalization, as I do, it will never spread past our borders in this country so long as opponents can use Oregon and Portland as an example in campaign ads. That means the movement will be dead in the water till we fix what is broken. Reading the full text of Measure 110 that is now current law, it shows a focus on 3 things: decriminalization of drugs, money, and additional services. While riding with my children in tow on bikes around our southeast neighborhood, I noticed 3 other things: open meth pipe drug use on private restaurant picnic benches during lunch hour, the closed businesses due to massive amounts of theft, and an increase of wasteland, garbage cans, baby strollers, empty coolers, plastic, metal scraps, entire scrapped cars, tattered tents no longer usable, suffocating our greenways and polluting our waters. If decreasing criminal penalty is not met with the appropriate access of care, what kind of situation have we created? Measure 110 was a promise to meet people with compassion and a supportive structure and process. It has completely failed. The link connecting the services to the addicts is effectively non-existent. Many critics of Measure 110, like myself, actually believe that we should keep the measure, but improve on it. As many critics often do, I want to highlight the relevant differences between Portugal's model of decriminalization and Measure 110. What separates our disaster of an approach to Portugal's successful approach: Portugal mandates only that a user at some point in the near future will have to stand in front of a panel of advocates who will, without negative judgment, recommend and connect the user to treatment options that are proportional to usage. The user at that point can still decide for themselves whether they are ready for treatment or not, with no consequence for deciding either way. Meanwhile, Measure 110 outlines 2 rules for consequences of using. One is no more than a $100 fine, which cannot be built upon with additional fines for not paying or seeking help from the state, and that incarceration is not allowed. Our users simply can tear up their citation, which is their connection to help, without consequence. The differences between Oregon and Portugal is minimal, not punitive, It is respectful, empathetic, and born of the need for pro-social behaviors and norm. The opportunity is here for you to narrow the gap between the two. It is time for you to open the door and mandate an appearance before a panel of advocates for any person caught using drugs. Thank you.
Thank you, Timothy. Now, I know my colleagues have some reaction. Commissioner Maps.
Sure. Tim, thank you. Number one, good to see you again. Tim and I know each other going back a couple of years. I really appreciate your advocacy on behalf of the city. I think you've also worked for clean air issues in the past and have generally been a good citizen. I couldn't agree with you more in terms of the need to reform Measure 110. As of course you know, this is a state law as opposed to a city ordinance. What the city can do here is to advocate to the state legislature to make changes to 110. That was part of our legislative agenda. As we all know, the legislature is meeting literally as we speak. I haven't received a briefing on what, if anything, the legislature is going to do in this space, but I continue to stand by the position that this is an important piece of legislation which needs dramatic reform. At the same time, while I hope to see the state make some changes to 110, I also think and hope and I'm working on local changes to some of the Measure 110 dynamics that we see on the streets. In recent weeks, for example, you might have seen, I believe, the city of Seattle put forward an executive order around fentanyl, and I've seen some other local jurisdictions around the country do something similar. I certainly think that the city of Portland should investigate that, and I'll tell you, there are discussions that have been going on at a staff level to see if there are ways that the city could step into the space and make some changes here, and I'll be talking to all of my colleagues about this. We've been talking to your staffs, but we'll be talking to the electeds around some opportunities in this space in the coming days and weeks. So thank you so much for being here today. Good to see you. Thank you for your advocacy on behalf of Portland. And I will turn the floor over to my colleague, Renee Gonzalez.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Tim, great to see you again. Thanks so much for testifying. Thank you for highlighting the impacts on family and community of Measure 110 and frankly, our pre-existing drug culture in the city of Portland. We had challenges that existed prior to Measure 110. Measure 110 has certainly exacerbated it. While we don't have clear line of sight on the data in terms of how it may impact migratory homelessness, we're certainly concerned that it is attracting certain elements to the city. And I'm a critic of it. While I share with you philosophical alignment with what Measure 110 was attempting to do, it was poorly conceived, even more poorly executed. We were promised the Portuguese model, and we were not delivered the Portuguese model. So it is at the city level, as Commissioner Maps alluded to. Just to be clear, there's actually some explicit preemption in Measure 110 of what local government can do on some issues with respect to enforcement, but it's on us to try and navigate what we can and can't do under Measure 110. I raised this specifically with the Portland delegation of the state legislature when we met earlier this year in terms of material rethinking of the sticks in the carrot-stick relationship. It was communicated to me there was zero appetite in the Portland delegation to fundamentally rethink the stick component of Measure 110. They, as I understand it, they're more focused on harm reduction and and getting the dollars out the door that we were promised for addiction services, which I think everyone agrees is important. Rethinking oversight, but this is a mess. There's no two ways about it. We were promised one thing, delivered another, and it is doing real damage to the city of Portland. And it's incumbent on us up here to figure out how we're going to navigate this going forward if there's not going to be material rethink at the state level outside of getting dollars out the door. It is a substantial challenge with explicit preemption of what we can do in certain areas as a city. So I leave it at that. I appreciate you testifying. I would encourage Portlanders that are listening, if you're concerned about Measure 110, reach out to your state legislator because that is where a good part of this is going to be resolved. Thank you.
Commissioner Ryan.
Thank you, Mayor. Tim, good to see you. I don't know you well, but I know of you because you're very active. And you're also active in bringing things to the ballot. And I think when we bring measures to the ballot, I've been voting here in the state for a long time. I go back to Measure 5, where if you ask most Portlanders, like 5 years later, everyone said they didn't vote for it, which is not true since it won by a landslide in the city of Portland. You're now hearing this with Measure 110. Everyone's complaining about it, though many of us voted for it. So I'm going to ask you, like, will you tell me, did you vote for it?
Yeah, I did vote for it.
Yeah, got it. And your testimony was wonderfully nuanced, which I appreciated. And so I think that to the points that you heard from other commissioners, where is the political will and the courage of the people in the state to admit that we made a mistake in the rollout? And then there's been all these perfect storms that have coupled together. Like no one probably knew that, Chinese pharmaceuticals would be sending the drugs to Mexican cartels, and they would target Portland because we passed such a law that makes it really easy to hand them out here at very cheap prices. That's what's happening. It's complicated and it's not complicated. Like that's where we are. And we're in the city and the state with the largest number, we are now hearing, of untreated addicts with the fewest amount of treatment centers. So we did this backwards. Is that correct? Like we should have had a 10-year plan to build the infrastructure for treatment centers. Then we could look at how to decriminalize such usage. But we did it the opposite way. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. So I hope that have you been down to Salem to testify on this point?
I have not yet, no.
Okay, I highly encourage you to. You're very effective. You do your homework. I've read a lot of what you write, and you cover things in a very intellectual way. You cover both sides, and I hope that you reach out and use your political will to reach out to the Portland delegation, because I think now and then in politics we have to just admit that the government side made a mistake, and we can clean it up just like any company does when you're trying to move forward and have success. You have to adjust as you go along. So I would say we're being a little stubborn on this one, and we're in a stalemate. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree, yeah.
All right, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Keep the dialogue going. Please focus on the state.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So I've given lots of speeches and lots of interviews on this subject, so I won't preach to the choir or repeat my position, but it's similar to the positions that have just been expressed by my colleagues. I do have some good news, and the good news is that people are broadly aware of the shortcomings of Measure 110 and its implementation, from the governor on down. And there are people in the legislature who are trying to fix Measure 110, particularly the sluggishness with which the dollars have been injected into the community for treatment-oriented services, as well as redefining the priorities of where those dollars should go towards the actual treatment services themselves, as opposed to some of the peripheral areas that the measure also called for funding. So I am somewhat optimistic that there will be a true up, just because it's not the minority position that Measure 110 needs to be fixed. I think it is broadly agreed that it needs to be fixed. And obviously you're hearing my colleagues express that sentiment. People have heard me express that sentiment for quite some time. You're expressing it. And now I agree with my colleague, Commissioner Ryan, the game for right now is in Salem. So let's keep pushing down there.
Okay.
And support those in Salem who are working to improve Measure 110.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Next up is the consent agenda. I understand 343 has been pulled from the consent agenda.
That's correct, and I believe Commissioner Gonzalez has an announcement.
Yeah, we're referring this back to office. We have some elements in public safety bureaus that we'd like to talk through further on this, so.
Could you read item 343, please?
Yes. Centralize the city's planning of the 2023 Rose Festival for improved and efficient coordination and public safety.
Referred back to Commissioner Gonzalez's office without objection. Please call the roll on the remainder of the consent agenda.
Ryan?
Aye.
Gonzalez?
Aye.
Maps?
Aye.
Rubio?
Aye.
Wheeler?
Aye, the consent agenda is adopted. We will go to the first time certain item number 342, a proclamation.
Proclaim May 2023 to be Portland Registered Nurses Month.
Colleagues, our next item proclaims May 2023 to be the Portland Registered Nurses Month. I'd like to welcome Nikki Alcala, nurse educator at OHSU, who is attending virtually. We also have Dr. Brooke Baldwin, the VP and Chief Nursing Executive at OHSU, also attending virtually. We have Lori Ellison, Associate Chief Nursing Officer from Acute Care Services, here in person, I believe, and Anthony Mulholland, Administrative Director of Cardiovascular Service Line, also in person. Again, welcome to the council. Thank you all for being here today to present on this important topic. I'll hand it off to Nikki to begin the presentation, and if those of you who are in person are here in person, you're free to come on up to the table.
Anthony and Lori are actually on the Zoom call.
Very good. All right, I'll let you handle it from here. Welcome.
I know she recently has been ill, so she may not be in attendance. So this is Lori. As introduced, Anthony, Dr. Brooke Baldwin, and myself and Nikki are here to essentially have the City Council support this month as far as a proclamation to support nurses. And also next week is Nurses Week. We start on May 6th, Florence's birthday, and extends to the 12th. We are from OHSU. We have over 3,000 nurses that are employed here. We're very proud of them, and we will be presenting awards to 16 different nurses and nurse leaders. Just also know that the International Council of the Nurse announced a theme for this year, and it's Our Nurses, Our Future. So we're very proud to be here at the City Council to make sure that nurses get the attention that they have well deserved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you, City Council, for allowing us to be here. I'm Anthony, and I want to echo what Lori said. We thank you for acknowledging nursing and the contributions that nurses make to the public health. We at OHSU are very proud of our nurses. We continue to show up as the caring profession and backbone of our healthcare facilities, despite all of the staffing challenges that face nursing as a profession across the United States. So it's not just here in the city of Portland, it's everywhere. And we continue to work very hard to address those gaps, rise to the occasion, and we appreciate the acknowledgement from the City Council. Happy Nurses Week.
Thank you, Anthony. And was there somebody else?
Dr. Brooke Baldwin is our chief nurse, so she had to get to an important meeting, so she did have to leave the call. I apologize on her behalf.
Very good. My colleagues and I have some comments before I read the proclamation. I'll just go in the order in which it popped up. Commissioner Gonzalez.
Well, thank you so much for appearing today virtually. I just want to call out a couple of connections into the men and women who serve us in such important roles. First of all, in the Fire Bureau and the Community Health Division, I'd like to call out 4 individuals. 3 of them are members of what we call the Community Health and Treat Teams, our chat program in the Community Health Division. Michelle Lavina, she's a chat Community Health Nurse Supervisor. Holly Igg is a chat Community Health Nurse, and Leslie Callahan, a chat Community Health Nurse, as well as Janet Woodside. She is an occupational health nurse in PFNR. I just want to thank them all for their service to the city of Portland and to our community. Second, there's a family connection to nurses. My grandmother, my abuela, Paula, was a licensed practical nurse, got her degree in her 40s, was the first Latina graduate of Weslaco High School and would later on become a nurse. My Aunt Anna was also a registered nurse. And there's a little bit of story of, immigrants to this country. Sometimes the nurse profession was a really good entryway, and love the connection there. Last but not least, for many parents that were nurses, and disproportionately mothers, unfortunately, one of the most painful parts of the pandemic was extended school closures. And mothers and fathers were still asked to show up for work every day when they were registered nurses, often without stable childcare, without schools for their children to be able to attend. Some of the most painful testimony I witnessed during school closures came from nurses in our community, and a feeling of complete lack of control over their destiny, deep concern about their children's education and their care while they were being asked to show up every single day. So I just want to thank the nurses in our community and Portland Fire, and good thing to cherish today. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gonzalez. Commissioner Mapps.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to begin by thanking Nikki, Dr. Baldwin, Lori, and Anthony for joining us today. And colleagues, I am delighted to join you, the American Nurses Association and Oregon Science and Health University, in proclaiming May 2023 to be Registered Nurses Month here in Portland, Oregon. Of course, during Registered Nurses Month, we celebrate the life-saving work our nurses do to keep us healthy. The theme of this year's Registered Nurses Month is Nurses, You Make a Difference. And that is true. Nurses do make a difference. Nurses are the largest group of healthcare professionals in the United States. They have an unparalleled positive impact on healthcare. And at some point in all of our lives, each of us have needed the care of a nurse. And as we exit our pandemic years, it is appropriate to pause and applaud the role that nurses played during the COVID crisis. Of course, during the pandemic, nurses put themselves and their families at risk in order to keep us healthy. We should also acknowledge the ongoing impact the pandemic has had on nurses. COVID burnout among healthcare professionals is real. So now, Portland, it is our turn to help nurses heal, which is why proclamations like Registered Nurses Month are so important. With this proclamation, the City of Portland commits to recognize, support, and thank Portland's nurses. This city sees the work that nurses do, and we recognize the sacrifices that you make. The City of Portland thanks nurses for the work that they do and the humanity that they bring to our city. Happy Registered Nurses Month, everybody. And again, I want to thank our healthcare professionals for helping to keep our community healthy.
Thanks, Commissioner Mapps. Commissioner Rubio.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank the presenters for bringing this forward today. These past few years of the pandemic have been extremely hard on nurses who were showing up every day and night and working tirelessly to treat and care for patients despite the risks to their own families, themselves, and their colleagues. And I just want to say it feels even more personal to me today because just last week, my elderly father had a medical issue that required me to take him to the ER. And from start to finish, we engaged with about 6 different nurses. And the care, the patience, and sincere respect and dignity that I felt from them towards my father, I can get emotional right now just even thinking about it. It made all the difference, and I remain so grateful to them because at the end of the day, it's nurses who are there with us during some of the most stressful and scary moments of our lives. So thank you for all the work you do and for your empathy and for pushing through on those really hard days and for showing up for all of us.
Thank you, Commissioner Rubio. Commissioner Ryan.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor. Thanks for bringing this forward. And Lori, I really appreciated your testimony. And I was you said 3,000 nurses at OHSU? Wow.
Over 3,000 nurses.
Over
yeah.
3,000. Wow, that's impressive. And Anthony, you mentioned the staffing challenges, which I really appreciate. I think that so many of us have staffing challenges right now. But if you had to rate the priorities of where there's concerns, I know nurses would be really close to the top. And so thanks for reminding us about that. And Commissioner Mapps mentioned the challenge of COVID on healthcare in general, but especially on nurses. And it reminded me of my own journey with why I know nurses really well. I was diagnosed with HIV in the 80s, and so I had a couple really long hospital stays. And so I was able to really appreciate nurses on a whole another level. And I remember rooting, there was this one that had, those 12-hour shifts, which I have no idea how they would do. but there was one I had that was my favorite, and I'd be like, help me get out of here in the next 3 days. And she gave me like extra attention. So they're the ones that not only have the intelligence to help, I think, translate to the doctors who are moving fast and need some translation sometimes, even if we're all speaking the same language. And they also, they hold your hands, they deal with emotional family members. So just seeing all the different skill sets that nurses take on is pretty overwhelming. And I think you're one of the more appreciated, yet that you're appreciated when we all take time to reflect on it, but it's not a loud appreciation. So I'm really glad there's actually a testimony today to give some love to the nurses. And I hope that all of us I know we all appreciate your compassion, your dedication, and all your support to keep humanity truly that. And anyway, so with utmost appreciation, thank you, and I salute the nurses all the time, but especially during a week when there's some fanfare. Thanks.
Thanks, Commissioner Ryan. I'd like to begin by saying thanks to all of the nurses in Portland. Thank you, and we salute the hard work that you do day in and day out around the clock for your patients, and I would argue the entire community. Over the past few years of the COVID-19 pandemic, we've learned just how essential nurses are. And we've also learned that we cannot take their services for granted. I'm glad that we're honoring registered nurses today. Nurses perform a crucial role in our healthcare system, and they should be respected, and they should be celebrated. For most of us, we'll have many instances in life where we depend upon and need the care of a nurse. Nurses provide necessary medical care, but they often go well above and beyond to provide comfort and emotional support to their patients. Once again, thank you for all the work you do. And now it's my honor to read a proclamation on behalf of the Portland City Council. Whereas registered nurses in the United States constitute our nation's largest healthcare profession, and whereas the depth and breadth of the registered nursing profession meets the different and emerging healthcare needs of the American population in a wide range of settings, including the front line of the pandemic. And whereas the American Nurses Association, as the voice for registered nurses in this country, is working to chart a new course for a healthy nation that relies on increasing access to primary and preventative health care and better utilization of all of our nation's registered nursing resources. And whereas professional nursing is an indispensable component of the safety and quality of care of hospitalized and non-hospitalized patients. And whereas the demand for registered nursing services will be greater than ever because of the aging of the American population, emerging health challenges, and the continuing expansion of life-sustaining technologies, as well as the explosive growth of home healthcare services. And whereas more qualified registered nurses are needed in the future to meet the increasingly complex needs of healthcare consumers in this community. And whereas the cost-effective, safe, and high-quality healthcare services provided by registered nurses will be an increasingly important component of the United States healthcare delivery system in the future. And whereas, along with the American Nurses Association, Oregon Science and Health University has declared May as Nurses Month with the theme, You Make a Difference, with appreciation for nurses' unparalleled impact during the pandemic and their contributions to healthcare, and an open invitation to thank a nurse for enriching our lives and the world in which we live. Now, therefore, I, Ted Wheeler, Mayor of the City of Portland, Oregon, the City of Roses, do hereby proclaim May 2023 to be Portland Registered Nurses Month in Portland, and urge all Portlanders to celebrate registered nurses' accomplishments and efforts to improve our healthcare system and show our appreciation for the nation's registered nurses, not just during this month, but indeed at every opportunity throughout the year. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, City Council and Mayor Wheeler.
Thank you. Colleagues, we'll move to the regular agenda. Please, item number 349, also a proclamation.
Proclaim May 5th, 2023 to be Day of Awareness for Missing and Murdered Indigenous People.
Colleagues and community members, before we begin, I'd like to note that this proclamation contains language referencing types of violence that may be upsetting for some people. Today, we recognize and build awareness for missing and murdered Indigenous people. Each year, during the first week of May, we uplift the National Week of Action for Missing and Murdered Indigenous People, which culminates on May 5th with Missing and Murdered Indigenous Peoples Day. It will take the work of many to put an end to the violence against Native people and to address the root causes of this violence. We acknowledge the disproportionate rates of Native women who are victimized by domestic and sexual violence and human trafficking. Nationally, American Indian and Alaska Native women are 2.5 times more likely to be raped or to be victims of sexual assault compared to other racial groups. This is a critically important issue, and I thank my council colleagues for joining me today in learning about the work being done and the work that's still needed to address these acts of violence. Miranda will share more details, but there's a variety of awareness events this week for the public to learn more about this issue and show solidarity for those lost to this senseless violence. Thank you to Miranda and our Tribal Relations Program, as well as all of the community members who've put so much time and thought into planning this year's awareness events. I urge my colleagues and all Portlanders to join in solidarity with local and national efforts to end the crisis of missing and murdered Indigenous people. With that, I'll turn this over to Tribal Relations Community Liaison, Miranda Mission, to share some remarks and introduce our guests from the Future Generations Collaborative, who are doing really outstanding work in the community. Thank you so much, Miranda, for being here. We appreciate your leadership.
Thank you, Mayor Wheeler. Thank you, Council. Commissioners, my name is Miranda Mission. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the Community Liaison in the Tribal Relations Program in the Office of Government Relations. Thank you, Mayor, for framing this issue. Nationally, American Indian and Alaska Native women are more than twice as likely to be raped or victims of sexual assault compared to other racial groups. This is an issue faced across the country and felt firsthand here in Portland. Challenges in data collection, sharing of non-tribal government databases, and the lack of access tribal agencies have to the data available makes it difficult to demonstrate the severity of this crisis. We must acknowledge the disproportionate rates of Native women who are victimized by domestic and sexual violence and human trafficking. This disproportionate harm is rooted in generational and historic trauma. We know that poverty and homelessness contribute to the victimization of Native American women and perpetuate cycles of abuse. The City of Portland is working to address the critical issue of missing and murdered Indigenous people and the issues that cause and exacerbate it. Today, we have the opportunity to learn about an important new project led by the Future Generations Collaborative. Our guest speakers will highlight the work that they've been doing on Barbie's Village, a tiny home village dedicated to serving Native American women and children. The land for Barbie's Village was gifted to the FGC from the Presbyterian Church of the Cascades. The project marks an important step in delivering culturally specific services to address the ripple effects of the MMIP crisis. Again, I want to thank community members who have collaborated with the Tribal Relations Program in planning this year's Week of Action and Day of Awareness. The conversations, learning, and showing solidarity are just the beginning of the work that needs to be done. There are a number of events to participate in this week, including an in-person community event on May 5th, this Friday, at the South Park blocks of PSU. City staff can also stop by the South Atrium and City Hall to see some handmade red ribbon garments made by community members in honor of lost relatives. We also have a calendar of community events on our website on portland.gov/tribal relations. So I hope that folks can get out there this week, really learn and engage with our community about this important issue. I'll hand it over to Shanoa Landry now with the Future Generations Collaborative.
Thank you, Miranda. Hat slapeld bal gulapu de Asia de CIA up chalep Shanoa Landry seedstat spialabubsched Good afternoon to all of you, my community, my relatives and friends. My name is Shanoa Landry. I'm a member of the Puyallup tribe. I'm she, her, and I'm also a community health worker with Native Wellness Institute. We're part of the Future Generations Collaborative, and we're built up of a lot of community organizations, as well as a huge network of Native community members that are our natural helpers, and many of our elders also help with this work. One of our very special natural helpers was named Otway Barbie, and her partner's name was Kenny. So we had our own Barbie and Ken at one point, and they're both natural helpers with the FGC. Barbie worked in medical records. She was a traditional singer, a loving wife and mother, and proud of her culture and concerned for our Native peoples living on the streets or couch surfing and living without a home in our own homelands. And sadly, Barbie passed away 5 years ago due to a brain aneurysm. And her beautiful spirit impacted the FGC so much in such a way that we wanted to keep her legacy alive. So that's how Barbie's Village was born. And it was intended to be a tiny home village for houseless Native people, especially those with children. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Jolene to share more about the work that we've been doing.
Thank you, Shanoa. Thank you, Miranda. And thank you, Mayor and council people, for the opportunity to be here this morning. My name is Jolene Joseph. I am the Executive Director of the Native Wellness Institute and a partner, and we are the lead on the community engagement mode with the Future Generations Collaborative. For the past 2 years, we created a Barbie's Village Task Force in collaboration with the Presbyterian Church. And for the past 2 years, we have been meeting as a task force to make this land back gift happen. So we've been meeting with different layers of the church and the leadership within the church. We've been meeting with neighbors, presenting at neighborhood association meetings, going door to door, talking with neighbors about the potential, tiny home village in their backyard, so to speak. We've met with subcommittees and other neighbors, really doing the groundwork to building that trust and building that relationship. It's been an amazing process where we started with people, very concerned and alarmed about a tiny home village going up next to them. And we've gone full force the other way to neighbors donating money and waiting to volunteer to help with Barbie's Village. We know that this will help address the missing and murdered Indigenous women and relatives movement by housing, women with small children. In addition, we already have early childhood programming operating out of Barbie's Village, the former Laurelhurst Presbyterian Church, and those services will continue as we wrap around these families to help provide a foundation for them to move forward with stable housing and be positive contributing members to our community. We're super excited. This is one of this actually the second land back movement here in Portland, Oregon. And we're getting to the final stages of this, and we can't wait to publicize it and celebrate with the community. So we're grateful for the opportunity to be here and to share our good work with all of you, and just open it up if anybody has any comments or questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And does that complete your presentation?
Yes.
Very good. Then what we'll do at this point is I'll open it up to comments from my colleagues. I see Commissioner Mapps has his hand raised. Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to begin by thanking Miranda, Shanoa, and Jolene for their testimony today. And colleagues, I also want to say this. I am honored to join you in proclaiming May 5th, 2023 to be a day of awareness for missing and murdered Indigenous people. On this day, we remember the thousands of Native Americans who have been lost to violence. And we recommit ourselves to working with tribal nations to end that violence. Now, today, as we've heard, Native peoples face an epidemic of violence. For example, homicide is the third leading cause of death for Native American women. On some reservations, Native women are murdered at a rate more than 10 times the national average. And 4 out of 5 Indigenous women have experienced violence in their lives. In other words, Native American peoples face an unprecedented level of violence, and that is true even in Oregon, and that is true even in the city of Portland. For example, according to data from the National Crime Information Center, Oregon has the 3rd highest rate of missing and murdered Indigenous women in the country. Now, Native Americans make up just 2% of Oregon's population, but they represent 10% of the state's missing person cases. In Oregon, Native American women and children are 2.5 times more likely to experience violent crime than any other demographic group. Further, since 2018, at least 29 Indigenous people have gone missing or murdered in Oregon. And since 2018, in Portland, there have been at least 13 cases of missing or murdered Indigenous people. This includes the recent disappearance of a 20-year-old Shesla Yakima Nations woman named J.C. Smith, who went missing on January 2022. Now, what's happening to Indigenous people on our reservations and across this nation and in the state of Oregon and in the city of Portland is unconscionable, and it is outrageous, and we must do better. It is past time that this council take a comprehensive approach to protecting the lives of Native Americans. We can do that by embracing violence prevention strategies that bolster tribal autonomy, improve coordination amongst law enforcement agencies, and expand access to culturally appropriate support services. Now, in 2019, the Portland Police Bureau created a Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women's Task Force. This work must continue. We must also invest in resources for Indigenous communities, including increased funding for healthcare, education, and housing. In addition, we must work to improve coordination and communication between law enforcement and Indigenous communities. We must recognize the trauma and pain that comes with the loss of a loved one. We must support the healing process for those who have been affected, and we must honor those who have been lost. Now, I'm committed to working with the City of Portland's Office of Tribal Relations to meet these goals. And for these reasons and more, I'm proud to join you and this council in proclaiming May 5th, 2023 to be a day of awareness for missing and murdered Indigenous people. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Mapps. Commissioner Ryan.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I want to thank you, Miranda, for being here today and for the Tribal Relations team in OGR for bringing attention to this topic, not just for the proclamation today, but noticeably the action that you're doing later in the week. I really do appreciate it. It's something that deserves attention. I also want to really thank our honored guests, both Chenoa and Jillian, for being here. I was most attached to listening to your journey that you're on to build this village, this very necessary village. And I can join you in solidarity in the process of what it's like to engage with neighbors who I think have a lot of fear, and fear shows up in ways that isn't enjoyable to receive sometimes. And I think what I've witnessed in my own work is how those concerns go to a commitment and care. And I know that with some of the villages that we've opened up, and we're all in this together, when we changed the zoning in the shelter to housing continuum, it loosened it up so that we could build these throughout the city. And I was always hoping, you want the community to take over. That's good government. And you wanted communities like yours to partner with communities of faith to do this justice work and to do this service work during this humanitarian crisis. So I just want to thank you for your leadership, for your persistence. It takes so much persistence, but it does happen. I know I've had a few encounters of late in parts of town where there were even signs up that weren't very kind, very charitable about me in particular. And so now I'm having people apologize and actually say it's actually working, and I'm so glad that the village opened. So I just really appreciate your persistence and your compassion for your community. So my office is committed to being a partner anytime and to really stay abreast. It's my job and our office's job to stay in tune with the action you're taking. But justice is about action today, and that's the journey that we're all on when it comes to all justice work. But I'm just really taken with the storytelling today about taking time to be with the pain of this crisis that does impact your community, and then the action that you're taking to build a better world for your community. And so I stand in solidarity, and thank you for being here.
Thanks, Commissioner Ryan. Commissioner Gonzalez.
Well, it's a heartbreaking subject. I cherish and appreciate your testimony today on a painful part of our history and our reality today. I want to echo my colleagues' comments and just would like to observe one of the complexity here is that we're talking about a city and how we interact with a sovereign nation or sovereign nations. And there has been assessment of how law enforcement can better collaborate and work to solve these crimes, to protect. I just would hearken back to the Savannah bill that was proposed in 2017, called for strengthening protocol standardization of how sovereign nations interacted with state and federal authorities on these. And I think this is an area that we need to explore going forward. But I just want to honor the moment, profound sadness, but can see good things coming out of such deep pain, and appreciate Commissioner Ryan's hard work on the village you discussed. And I'm glad it's there. I'm glad we got through it. And thank you all for your work on it.
Thank you, Commissioner Gonzalez. Commissioner Rubio.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks for bringing this proclamation forward, and thank you, Miranda, and the members of the Future Generations Collaborative for your comments and also for your leadership. I want to give gratitude to each of you and actually all the advocates who are working hard to continue to raise awareness in the community, not just this week but every day. The high rates of violence should continue to shock us all still. And our values and our conscience really should demand from us that we take action in any way that we can. We have a responsibility to be informed and activated about what's happening. And while we're making some progress at the federal and state level, we still need to continue to use our voice to advocate for ways that we're improving data collection and cross-jurisdictional partnerships so that we can be working together in concert. And locally, I'm really excited to hear about Barbie's Village, the collaboration, and I really look forward to learning more about how we can support the success of this project. And, effective action starts with education and listening to Indigenous voices. So during this time, it's important that we can and should take every opportunity to support, as you mentioned in your presentation, support any land-back projects, collaborations like Barbie's Village, and also participate in events and actions that are taking place this month to raise our awareness and understanding. So thanks again to the presenters for continuing to keep the issue alive and present on behalf of the missing and murdered Indigenous women, and for giving a strong voice and call to action about the important work ahead.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I'd also like to thank Miranda, Jolene, and Shanoa for their presentation this morning and the hard work that they do year-round to advocate for and keep this issue in front of all of us. It's extremely important work, and I'm proud that the City of Portland takes this work very seriously, and that we honor and remember people who are impacted by this situation, and that we work together through our Tribal Relations Office and other partners to make sure that we're doing our fair part. In that spirit, I'd like to read a proclamation on behalf of the Portland City Council. Whereas, the City of Portland joins a growing chorus of local, state, tribal, and national governments supporting the National Day of Awareness for Missing and Murdered Indigenous People. And whereas, the lasting effects of colonization and a history of oppressive policies directly correlate to the rise of violence against Indigenous women and girls in the United States, Canada, Mexico, Central America, and all U.S. territories. And whereas the disappearances and murders of Indigenous people is directly connected to domestic and other forms of violence, sexual assault, trafficking, and a history of childhood, intergenerational, and historic trauma. And whereas these acts of violence and neglect of government law enforcement is a continued form of genocide and a direct threat to the tribal sovereignty recognized by the City of Portland. And whereas the City of Portland recognizes that the issues of missing and murdered Indigenous people are not isolated to reservations or rural communities, but impact urban areas like the Portland metropolitan region. And whereas Native American community in Portland has shown continued resilience in the face of the missing and murdered Indigenous people crisis. And whereas the City of Portland continues to advocate to our state and congressional delegations for legislation and policy to address the crisis and follow the guidance of Native leaders. And whereas the City of Portland stands together with Native communities in solidarity against sexual violence and domestic abuse and work to address the root causes of these persistent systemic issues and protect our relatives from further harm. Now, therefore, I, Ted Wheeler, Mayor of the City of Portland, Oregon, the City of Roses, do hereby proclaim May 5th, 2023 to be Day of Awareness for Missing and Murdered Indigenous People in Portland and encourage all residents to observe this day. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Have a lovely day.
Appreciate it. You too. Thank you for the work you do.
Thank you.
Colleagues, we'll move to item 350, an emergency ordinance.
Accept and appropriate grant for $1,289,621 from the Department of Homeland Security to fund firefighting equipment and training for Portland Fire and Rescue.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
I'm going to turn this directly over to Kezia and Chief Ponce.
Welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, Council. Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, members of the public. For the record, my name is Kezia Warner with Portland Fire and Rescue, and I'm here today with Emergency Operations Division Chief Andy Ponce. And we're looking to ask for your approval for the 2021 FEMA Assistance to Firefighters Grant, also known as the AFG grant. The grant award of $1,289,261 funds critical operational tools, equipment, and training. The funding is essential to enable our firefighters to perform their jobs safely in the field and in their mission-critical responsibilities of protecting life and property. The Bureau has experienced budget challenges for more than a decade, and in order to maintain our frontline staffing to ensure adequate service levels to the public, other areas of the Bureau's budget have been reduced, including support and specialized staff positions and funding operational equipment and training. The Bureau has been diligent in seeking external funding sources to augment our budget, and although grants are not consistent or predictable funding streams, we're grateful to receive this grant funding to address some of our funding gaps. And at this point, I'll turn it over to Chief Ponce to discuss some of the specifics of what will be funded in the grant.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. I am Andy Ponce. I'm the Acting Division Chief Emergency Operations Portland Fire and Rescue, and I appreciate your time today to give you some information on the grant. I'm going to break this up into two parts. I'll go over the equipment that we submitted for in the grant, and then I'll go over the training. So part of this grant is for 12 thermal imaging cameras. These are the cameras that we use when we have reduced visibility, when we go into a structure that's filled with smoke, and we can also use this during nighttime if we are looking for potential victims that were ejected from a vehicle or something, or that are along the riverbanks, to be able to see the heat signatures that they can give off. There's 12 of these cameras in there, so each one of our frontline truck companies will receive one. of those. There's also extrication equipment. These are what's commonly known as the jaws of life. There's spreaders, there's cutters, and there's rams. These are 3 independent tools. These will be battery operated. They are lighter than what we use right now. They're more portable because some of our current models are still hydraulically driven with a power head and hoses. These being battery operated will allow us to move around the scene more quickly and use them simultaneously. The ones that are dedicated to the power head, you can only use 1 tool at a time because the head only has the ability to drive 1. It'll also give us the ability to reduce the noise level so we can improve communication while we're on scene because we don't have another motor running within close proximity to the scene. There's also 91 VHF radios. These are the radios that we use as a backup to our 800 megahertz system here in the city of Portland. And it's also the frequency and the radios that we use when we go out on wildland incidents and are interfacing with other agencies that aren't on the 800 megahertz system. Included in that is all of the battery chargers, the clamshells, and everything else we need to support those radios. We also have EMS training supplies in there. These are lifelike mannequins where we can practice our procedures and become proficient and keep those skills up for advanced life support techniques as, for example, intubation, starting IVs, pushing drugs and that kind of stuff. And so it will help keep our paramedic skills and our EMT skills sharp and ready to use at a moment's notice. As far as the training, there's hazmat training for 15 firefighters from the land-based Marine station that we have up there by Swan Island. Being one of that we have a major port here, we have ships coming in all the time. They have a bunch of different equipment and cargo. That will give that team the training that they need to be proficient in addressing all those different hazards that they may encounter should one of those ships down there catch on fire. It's also training for trench rescue, our technical rescue team, which also includes trench rescue, rope rescue, extrication, and confined space. That is one of those low frequency, very high risk events, and this will be able to keep them proficient in that and train and certify 13 members. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Kezia unless you have any questions.
Very good. Commissioner Gonzalez.
I'm going to go with this.
All right, do we have public testimony?
No one signed up.
Please call the roll. It's an emergency ordinance.
Ryan.
Yes. Thank you both, Tessia and Andy. That was great. I learned a lot. Far be it from me to stand in the way of receiving an investment from FEMA. This is kind of a no-brainer. But it was great to listen to what you had to say so we know what it's going for. I think you used the language, what did I write down? Low frequency, high risk. Yeah. So that matters. And so we really need to have these specific investments come to keep Portlanders safe. Thank you, Commissioner Gonzalez, for always promoting investments that are needed for the fire and rescue. I vote aye.
Gonzalez.
Love the external funding. Get an opportunity to celebrate technical rescue. And for those listening at home, we had a recent one on the Willamette, saved a suicide attempt off the Markham Bridge, I believe, and which is highly unusual. Our ability to get there quickly was crucial in saving lives. And I'm going to reiterate, I'm ecstatic for external funds. I vote aye.
Maps.
Yeah, I want to congratulate Commissioner Gonzalez and the Fire Bureau for winning this grant. It's going for incredibly important tools and extremely important training. I'm glad to vote aye.
Rubio.
I want to congratulate Commissioner Gonzalez and the Bureau for their great work in putting the work together to get the grants. It's very exciting to have it. I vote aye.
Wheeler.
Yeah, at a time of limited resources, I really appreciate this. Commissioner and Kezia, you've been forced to be exposed to me 2 days in a row. I really appreciate it. And I also just want to say more generally, I have a better understanding of the challenges in the work that you do. And I want you to know I heard you yesterday and we'll continue that conversation. This makes a tremendous amount of sense to me. Just sort of the random thought of the day. I hope you do a training exercise on Jackson Tower. I think there's an opportunity to invest in multiple ways around training and life safety, as well as maybe clean up a problem that exists on that particular building that I'd love to see resolved. Any rate, that's an aside, but you can think about it, take it or leave it. I vote aye, and the ordinance is adopted. Thanks for your hard work.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. I would be remiss, I know this is unorthodox, to not share appreciation of the person that really made it all possible. That's Tricia Schultz. She's our procurement and grants analyst and almost single-handedly delivers on all of our grants. And so she's fantastic, and a big thanks to her.
Awesome. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Next up, 351, a second reading.
Reauthorize intergovernmental agreements and grant agreements in support of the Neighborhood to River program for 5 years beginning FY 2023-24 up to $100,000 per fiscal year with aggregate costs not to exceed $500,000.
Colleagues, we have heard a great presentation on this subject, and we've had opportunity for public input. Is there any further business on this item? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Ryan?
Aye.
Gonzalez?
Aye.
Maps?
I just want to thank everyone who participates in the Neighborhood to the River program. It really is one of our, I think, exemplary public engagement programs. It makes many of our big infrastructure projects better. I appreciate my council colleagues' support for this. I'm glad to vote aye.
Rubio?
Aye.
Wheeler?
Aye. The ordinance is adopted. Next item, 352, an emergency ordinance.
Authorize new construction financing for an affordable housing project located at 3124 through 3224 Southeast 136th Avenue to be developed by Innovative Housing Incorporated or affiliate not to exceed $9,649,712.
This is an emergency ordinance. Commissioner Rubio.
Thank you. I'm pleased to present the renovation and expansion of the Garden Park Estates by Innovative Housing, Inc. in the Powellhurst-Gilbert neighborhood, an area in East Portland that is facing rising housing costs and displacement risks. The proposed city funding will use Metro bonds and federal home funds to leverage more than $47 million in additional public and private financing. The generous acreage at Garden Park is currently being underutilized, giving us the opportunity to expand the existing housing on the site to serve another 54 low-income households, as well as provide 25 new permanent supportive housing units designated for neighbors exiting homelessness and or living with disabilities. We thank the developer Innovative Housing, Inc. for delivering much-needed family housing and supportive services in partnership with the City of Portland and stakeholders. I will now invite up Housing Bureau staff, if they are there.
All right. Can we pull up the slides? Thank you so much. Good morning, Mayor Wheeler and commissioners. For the record, I am Molly Rogers. I'm the interim director of the Portland Housing Bureau, and I am thrilled to be here to ask for your support for the Garden Parks Estates. I'm also joined here by Sarah Stevens and from Innovative Housing. Next slide. The Metro Housing Bond was approved by voters in the Metro region in 2018, authorizing Metro to distribute the bond funds to local jurisdictions to fund affordable housing. As you can see on this map, Portland has 20 projects complete or underway, supported by the Metro Housing Bond all over the city. Garden Park Estates is the number 18 yellow diamond on this map located in East Portland. Although typically Metro bond approvals go through the Metro Chief Operating Officer, this project is also supported by federal home dollars. PHB is well on its way to implementing the city's goals for its eligible share of the Metro bonds, with 570 affordable Metro bond units already open or under construction throughout the city, and nearly 1,000 more in development. Next slide. Here is a snapshot of the Metro bond projects that are already open, will be completed, or are breaking ground just this year in 2023. One is open, the Hattie Redmond. 2 more have broken ground, and 5 more will be breaking ground soon, or in other words, are expected to reach financial close. The last, Powellhurst, will be moving residents in later this year. Next slide. Garden Park Estates, it's located at southeast 136th and Powell Boulevard, is roughly 4 acres with existing low-density rental homes. These 63 walk-up garden-style units were built in 1978 and have reached its useful lives with major systems failing, even though all the regulated affordable units have been restricted to 60% AMI and below, but these restrictions will expire in the next 10 years. So these will either be replaced or rehabbed completely, and I just want to note that none of the residents will be displaced as a result of that work. Next slide. 34 of the existing 63 garden-style units will be rehabilitated, and 29 will be demolished and rebuilt. So the PHB award of Metro Bond funds will support the construction of 54 new affordable units on the same site. The 54 units to be added will enable the site to serve more households of different sizes and at deeper affordability levels. The new units range in size from studios to 3 bedrooms, and 25 of these will be permanent supportive housing, affordable to households earning 30% of area median income and below. The borrower will enter into a regulatory agreement with PHB to maintain affordability for the project for 99 years and comply with the federal home requirements for 20 years. Next slide. When completed, the project will have 8 studios, 6 one-bedrooms, 96 two-bedrooms, and 7 three-bedrooms. Like I mentioned before, 25 will be affordable to households earning 30% of area median income and below. And what that means is that that essentially equates to $32,000 for a family of 4. And 92 will be affordable to households earning 60% of area median income and below. Next slide. Livability in the site will be enhanced by the addition of 2 laundry facilities, an outdoor community space, new modern playground equipment, and the addition of several single-level units to accommodate residents with restricted mobility or disabilities. The project's on track to meet Earth Advantage Multifamily Gold certification. It has many environmentally friendly components, including LED lighting, Energy Star appliances, heat pump, hot water heaters, and mini split heating and cooling systems in each unit. The project strives to meet PHB's equity and contracting goals of 30% disadvantaged minority, women, emerging small business firms, or DMWESB, utilization for hard construction costs, and 20% for soft professional services. Construction will start in early June and it is expected to take 28 months. The work will be done in 3 phases to minimize the impact to the current residents, and most will be able to remain on site while the work is being done. Next slide. The permanent supportive housing units will have rental support awarded by Oregon Housing and Community Services. Innovative Housing will provide supportive services to the PSH residents, including mental health case management, peer support, access to culturally specific and supportive programming. IHI will also hire a full-time housing support specialist and a peer support specialist to support these households. And additionally, these 25 units did receive additional funding for the wraparound support services by the Oregon Housing and Community Services. So there's an incredible amount of leverage in this project. Next slide. Additionally, the project will have resident services for all of the households. Some of these examples of services will be housing stability support, after-school activities for youth, such as academic support, eviction prevention counseling, information and resource referrals, and workshops and educational opportunities. slide. The proposed PHB funding is leveraging 5 times, raising over $47 million of other public and private financing for the renovation and expansion of the affordable housing complex. On April 6th, 2023, the Portland Housing Bureau's Housing Investment Committee recommended approval of the use of Metro housing bonds and federal home investment partnership program funds. The total amount of PHB direct financing will be $9,649,712. Other city funds consist of PSEF funding and SDC waivers. The private funding is contributed by investor Enterprise Housing Credit Investments and lender Umpqua Bank, with public support from Metro and Oregon Housing and Community Services. Next slide. So in conclusion, we are asking City Council to authorize funding of up to the $9,649,712 for the project, and authorize the interim director of the Housing Bureau to approve amendments and any related documentation to complete the project within the maximum approved amounts. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Sarah Stevenson.
Thank you, Molly. I'm Sarah Stevenson. I'm the Executive Director of Innovative Housing, and on behalf of IHI, I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank Commissioner Rubio, Mayor Wheeler, and all of our City Council members for your support of this redevelopment project. Garden Park is one of Innovative Housing's most demographically diverse properties. It is also in extreme need of reinvestment and repair, and it's a great example of how early in dedicated city funding allows us to leverage such significant amounts of state, federal, and private resources to improve the living situations of very low-income Portlanders. Thanks to the city's support, as you've heard, our current residents will receive much-needed renovations to their homes, and by redesigning this underutilized site, we'll be able to create 54 new homes on the same piece of property, 25 of which will provide housing to individuals and families transitioning from homelessness. Innovative Housing has been working with the city to assemble sufficient capital funds for this project since 2018. I cannot overstate how much we appreciate the city's unflagging support for this redevelopment. We're very excited to begin the work, and we look forward to inviting you all to the grand opening in 2025. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Colleagues, any questions at this point?
I just had a couple of quick ones.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Thank you so much for the comprehensive report. Thank you for highlighting the services that will be on site. I think sometimes when the public hears about the cost of these projects, there's not always visibility to wraparound services, the other things we're doing for residents. If I get this right, we're talking about essentially $9.65 million coming from the city. We're leveraging external financing for roughly 83%. It looks like, give or take a couple percentages, not asking you to confirm on the fly. So just doing some quick math, because I know people track this at home. What do you estimate is sort of the cost per unit of this project?
I'm actually going to defer this to Sarah. We'll have more of those numbers of the, because there's sort of 3 ways we look at numbers, just Commissioner. One is the total development costs.
Yep.
The second is really the hard construction costs, which is what typically people like to, is the best way to do apples to apples comparison. And then the third, of course, is the amount that PHB is putting in to subsidize each unit. Sarah, do you want to respond to some of the hard construction costs or how other development costs and leverage?
I would love to respond to that. I'm pulling up our pro forma right now. You're right, those numbers.
And we can certainly follow up with you with additional details.
Sure, and it's mostly for the public. I think this is an area where there continues to be a lot of assessment on, our ability to manage construction costs and total development costs. So when we can give apples to apples comparison to, third-party developers developing, and I think that continuously gets lost in sometimes the coverage of this is the wraparound services, these other pieces that are part of our total project costs. And so anything we can do to highlight that, just to communicate to taxpayers, I think it's always helpful.
I think just a quick note on that front. We know that getting rents to be affordable at 30% and below, it just doesn't pencil in a typical project. So when you add in the additional layers of affordability and other public benefits, we do start getting into a little bit less apples to apples, but we do like to look at comparisons of that. The unique component of this project, it's a combination of renovation plus new build. So it's harder to get to any comparables. But Sarah, did you want to add anything on that front?
Well, I was just going to add our total hard cost number works out to about 309,000 per unit. So if that's helpful, and then the total project budget.
That was 339, 339.
309. Did you say 309?
309,000, sorry, approximately per unit in hard costs. By the time you wrap in all the other costs, including construction loan interest, which has doubled since we started penciling this, and all the other costs, it comes out to closer to 478,000 a unit. But that includes others. It's kind of these budgets are complicated, so that number includes costs that are also contributed and deferred back as sources to the project. So we tend to focus, to give people apples to apples. It's easier to look at hard costs. So I would say that 309,000 number is a better number to use.
Got it. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Very good. Is there public testimony on this item?
We had one person
Very
sign
good.
up. Let me see if they're here. Haley Alves. Is Haley here? I don't think they're here.
Please call the roll.
Ryan?
Thank you for bringing this forward today, Commissioner Rubio. It's good to see you, Interim Director Rogers, and the amazing partner for affordable housing, Sarah Stevenson. Good to see you. And you're such a great leader at innovative housing. I think what I learned in my time at the Housing Bureau was those leaders on the ground, how innovative, good word, creative that you have to be to bundle this all together, and how important it is for the public investment that we start. But it's there's so many pieces must come together to make this pencil out. And I appreciate the questions that came from Commissioner Gonzalez, because when I was in this space, it reminded me sometime of public education, where my friends that would send their kids to private schools that didn't have to serve kids with special needs, that didn't have to take on whoever enters to serve. It's just more expensive. And so I don't think we tell that story. So I appreciate your thoughts about the importance of the wraparound services for those that need affordable housing. So I think it's a really good conversation, because the apples and apples really should start with not just the exact expense of the square footage, but also what we hope to do with the results from those that are living in those units. And I've been a big supporter of family units at the 30 to 60, and I love that that's a target focus. Well, I remember the conversations over a year ago about the complexity of this space, and you always hope that this is the vision that you had and that you're landing it. And so it's really wonderful today to authorize this much needed funding. I vote aye.
Gonzalez?
I vote aye.
Maps?
Aye.
Rubio?
I want to thank Interim Director Rogers and the Housing Bureau team, as well as Director Stevenson and the team of Innovative Housing, for all your great work on this. This project has all the components that affordable housing needs would want, and it will be an incredible benefit to the community, and all the services are so critical. And it's just one more example of how public funding administered by the very capable and stellar team at the Housing Bureau is being used to address the needs of our most vulnerable residents and communities. So very happy to vote aye.
Wheeler?
Thank you, Commissioner Rubio. Great work to the housing team. I'm very happy to vote aye. The ordinance is adopted. Thanks. Good work. Look forward to seeing the rest. Thank you. Next item, please, a 4/5 agenda item 353.
Vacate a portion of an unnamed road near the intersection of Northeast 33rd Drive and Northeast Marine Drive, subject to certain conditions and reservations.
Commissioner Maps.
Colleagues, I'm pulling this one back to my office.
Without objection. Item number 354, a non-emergency ordinance.
Vacate a portion of Northeast 42nd Avenue south of Northeast Halsey Street, subject to certain conditions and reservations.
Commissioner Maps.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Colleagues, this item comes to us from PBOT. This ordinance proposes to vacate a portion of Northeast 42nd Avenue just south of Northeast Halsey Street and transfer control of this area to TriMet. Everyone on this council knows the space I'm talking about. We are discussing the Hollywood Transit Center. This area is currently used by both pedestrians and bicyclists to access public transit. Now, colleagues, it is reasonable for you to ask, why would the city want to vacate ownership of this important space? The answer to that lies in a little bit of history. A little of more than 2 years ago, on April 6th, 2021, the City of Portland initiated a request through PBOT and the Mayor's Office to vacate a portion of Northeast 42nd, just south of Northeast Halsey Street. This change will help unlock a new, affordable, and transit-oriented housing development project in the area. Approval of this ordinance will allow TriMet to move forward with the reconstruction of the public transportation infrastructure in this space and will make the adjoining property viable for the construction of approximately 220 new affordable housing units. Now, over the last 2 years, this action has gone through a full noticing process required by state law. Comments were solicited from city bureaus, government agencies, public utilities, the relevant neighborhood associations, and the relevant business associations. The Planning and Sustainability Commission reviewed this proposal and recommended this council approve this vacation. That action brings us to the proposal before council today. Here to tell us more about this ordinance, we have Lance Lindahl, right-of-way agent with PBOT. Welcome, Lance.
Welcome. Thank you very much, Commissioner, for the great introduction.
Sure.
We can go ahead and move on to the second slide since we're moving right along here. So here's an aerial photo showing what the location looks like today. This is, of course, the Hollywood Transit Center, and it serves as a major transfer point between Max Light Rail and a number of different bus lines serving the region. Slide number 3, please. A little bit more on the current conditions. The surrounding area is zoned as Commercial Mixed Use 3 with a Main Street design overlay, and it's located on the southern edge of the Hollywood neighborhood. This portion of Northeast 42nd Avenue, outlined here in red, serves as a major pedestrian bike connection between the Hollywood neighborhood and the Laurelhurst neighborhood located to the south. Next slide. A little bit more on the history of this area. This street segment was created in 1910 when the surrounding area was subdivided. Construction of I-84 cut off access from the Hollywood neighborhood to the Laurelhurst neighborhood to the south. And the Union Pacific Railroad was already present at that time, so access had already been limited. Since 1986, the street area has been maintained by TriMet as a part of their regional light rail system. And currently there are plans, as the Commissioner discussed, to renovate and improve this site. And that proposal is what led to the street vacation request. Next slide. There's a number of conditions of approval on this one. As always, we'll want to make sure that the city is protected with the easement rights that are needed to maintain public services. There were multiple groups within PBOT on this one that came together in agreement that there should be a public walkway easement over the full vacation area, and this is to maintain the public access, both to transit and to the pedestrian bridge over the I-84 freeway. And also there's provisions for the existing traffic signal infrastructure, which is quite complex at the 42nd and Halsey intersection. So easement rights will be maintained so that the existing facilities can actually not just be maintained, but improved in the near future. Next slide. There were easement issues that came up from the Bureau of Environmental Services. Their concerns were twofold. First of all, there is an existing sewer line in this area. And also the Sullivan's Gulch trunk sewer is located on the Union Pacific property to the immediate south. So we wanted to make sure that access to that critical line was maintained. And there will be an easement for the line within the vacation area, and TriMet and BES have already entered into an agreement for future access to that trunk line sewer. Next slide, please. Oh, and also on there, real quick, Water Bureau has facilities out there. There's already an agreement to go ahead and remove or relocate those facilities at TriMet's expense, and the existing fire hydrant out there will be relocated so it maintains its presence in the public right-of-way. All right, next slide. All right, a few last conditions of approval. TriMet has actually already worked with the Bureau of Development Services, to record a replat for this area so that there's no landlocked parcels of land left after the vacation is completed. Use my notes here. Urban Forestry has reserved the right to approve future landscaping plans in regards to tree cover. And there's an addressing issue that's also being resolved. BTS Corporate GIS has asked TriMet to work with CenturyLink Lumen to address that addressing issue out there for an existing payphone. Next slide. So here's the pretty picture part of the presentation. First of all, redevelopment of the street area. Bus operations will be relocated to a new bus line and loading area, which will be located on Northeast Halsey Street. And you can see that area here. Tentative plans right now are to have that marked in red to denote it as a public transit use area. The existing street area will be reconstructed and improved with a focus on bike and pedestrian use. Motor vehicle use will be limited to TriMet and BES maintenance vehicles. And design considerations have also been incorporated into this for a future connection to the Sullivan's Gulch Trail, which hopefully will be built to the south, parallel with the Union Pacific Railroad. Next slide. So TriMet is working with Bridge Housing to redevelop the parcel, and approximately 220 units of affordable housing will be built in a transit-oriented development. And there are representatives from TriMet here today to answer any questions that you may have about that project. And that wraps up my presentation.
Very good. Thank you. Colleagues, any questions at this particular point?
I don't, but I do believe we might have invited, or two people might be signed up to testify in this.
Keelan, do we have people signed up?
We do.
Very good.
First up, we have Martin Lung.
Hi, Martin.
Martin, you're muted. There we go.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I think Guy Ben from TriMet is also present, and he will start the testimony first for passing on to me.
Is Guy Ben?
There are issues there right now with the housing scam, but frankly, to put in any hiking trailers. So feel free to raise it. Just the last two. Yeah, it says, okay, great.
Good morning, Mayor, Council Commissioners. My name is Guy Ben, and I'm the Program Manager of Transit-Oriented Development at TriMet. I'm here today with my colleague Fiona Lyon on behalf of TriMet to express its strong support for item number 354, the ordinance to vacate a portion of Northeast 42nd Avenue south of Northeast Halsey Street. Today's proposed street vacation is a key step in delivering a 20-plus year vision to bring housing and density to the Hollywood Transit Center. Originally identified as an opportunity site in BPS's Hollywood and Sandy plan that was published in 2000, TriMet has been working diligently with the City of Portland bureaus, public partners, and the community to realize this vision. In 2019, TriMet partnered with nonprofit developer Bridge Housing to create a transformative transit-oriented development that can deliver 224 units of permanent, family-focused, affordable housing in a well-amenitized neighborhood. In September 2021, the project was awarded $29 million from the Metro PHB bond program, the largest funding award to date for an affordable housing project in Portland. In addition to expanding housing options for the community, this street vacation will allow TriMet to invest over $15 million into new transit infrastructure and community benefits. Detailed in Exhibit A that was submitted online, these improvements include, firstly, a new ADA-compliant stair and ramp that serves a full spectrum of pedestrians and bicyclists traveling to and from the MAX station and connecting Hollywood with the surrounding neighborhoods. 2, a new public plaza Paseo space, improving access and providing a venue for local events. 3, new bus facilities on Halsey Street and Northeast 42nd Avenue, including a bus bulb in to accommodate articulated buses and allow services to travel north on Northeast 42nd Avenue. 4, safer and improved crosswalks on Halsey Street. Working with PBOT, we're excited to deliver an entirely new crosswalk at Northeast 41st Avenue in Halsey. 5thly, it will deliver a new substation to power MAX trains, replacing the 37-year-old substation currently on the site. 6thly, a new 20-foot wide access to BES sewer assets located south of the site. This access also serves as access to the future Sullivan's Gulch Trail. And 7, an inclusive design, ethos, and tribute to one of the lives lost in May 2017. TriMet is very grateful for the support at all levels from staff at PHB, BDS, BES, Parks, and PBOT, amongst others. This is an important and very complex project that addresses many climate, equity, and community goals. Our team is excited to witness how high-density, family-oriented, affordable TOD can bring safety, housing, activation, and new opportunities to this part of Hollywood, and it would not happen without the city's support. We hope Council can approve this street vacation ordinance. Members of the TriMet team and Bridge team are available today to answer questions as needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Gonzalez.
I'm going to keep this quick. I'm going to support this vacation. Given the fluidity of public safety discussions, really in the last 4 years, in particular in public transit, this particular location has some history that's rather specific. Could you walk high level through what's the plan in terms of design with respect to public safety and just your sense of the operational plan for public safety at this location?
Yeah, so with the entire infrastructure project, there will be new lighting and cameras that will improve visibility to the whole area surrounding the MAX platform. We're also a believer in applying principles of SEPTED, where the activation and bringing people and eyes onto this site to improve public safety. And importantly, road safety is a huge issue here, and improving the crosswalks across Halsey Street, both at 41st, 42nd Avenue is a key objective.
Got it. Thank you.
Very good. Commissioner Mapps.
Sure, I just want to jump in and thank Commissioner Gonzalez for raising this question. I know this particular spot quite well. Used to be part of my commute on a daily basis, and I still go through the neighborhood fairly often. The safety concerns that Commissioner Gonzalez raises are, I think, important in this space. I also wanted to share, and some people at the table may not be fully read into this, at least since I've been in the role of PBOT Commissioner, there's been a great dialogue between the city and TriMet about how to work together on public safety issues. The mayor, I want to compliment and thank the mayor. His office has been a great partner in trying to convene these conversations. I'm actually hopeful that moving forward, we will see an even more coordinated work around public safety on TriMet for TriMet properties and TriMet assets. And I want to share why that's important to the PBOT Commissioner. One of my core mission is to help people get to where they want to go. TriMet is a key partner there. I also have obligations around trying to meet our climate change goals. And frankly, one of the ways I achieve that is to make sure that our friends over at TriMet succeed. I've had a lot of tables with TriMet, and I'll tell you, one of the challenges that TriMet has is folks are concerned about going on the bus because of public safety issues. So we really need to work together with TriMet in order to move forward. We have a lot of expertise and assets around public safety. Those folks have the buses that'll help keep our air clean. We need to work together, and the good news is those conversations and partnerships are ongoing and continue. Go ahead, my friend.
So I forgot to add, there will also be a safety and security office for safety staff sort of built into the building of the project.
That's great. I'm delighted to hear that. And that is all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, very good. And was there one more person signed up? Very good.
We did have one more. Martin Lung.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Martin Long. I'm the Director for Planning and Acquisitions at Bridge. We're the nonprofit development partner for TriMet. I think everything that needs to be said has already been said by Guy, but I just want to say that Bridge as a nonprofit development partner, incredibly grateful for the support from the city, from PHP to PBOT to the Design Commission, who unanimously approved our plans in April. We're especially proud of the partnership with Hacienda CDC, provide culturally specific services to these large families. Of the 224 homes, almost 60% of these are going to be family-friendly units with 2 to 3 bedrooms. So we're especially proud of that fact. And our partnership as well with O'Neill Walsh Community Builders to engage women, minority, and disadvantaged small businesses to perform the design and construction work. So if you guys have any further questions on the affordable housing project, we're happy to answer.
Thanks, Martin. Commissioner Gonzalez.
I'm sorry, I'm good.
All right, very good. Any further discussion on this item? Commissioner Ryan?
I wasn't briefed on this, so I just don't know. You mentioned Parks. How is Parks involved in this project? As a Parks Commissioner, just love to hear it.
There's a long-term, Fiona Lyon with TriMet, there's a long-term vision that Parks has for a Sullivan's Gulch multi-use path that runs along the UPRR right-of-way. So we're accommodating basically a 20-foot wide corridor so that when that does get built, there's easy access from the Hollywood district to feed into that.
Thank you so much.
Very good. This is a first reading of a non-emergency ordinance. It moves to second reading. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks. That completes our work for this morning. Is that
It does.
correct? Very good. Colleagues, we're adjourned. Thank you.